अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै, तीनों लोक हाकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै, महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है, प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा, जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी। बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायकु फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरौ पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज संहारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाँकते कांपे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है, प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna everybody. Om Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A warm welcome to all the Geeta sadhakas who have joined the Geeta Pariwar for learning Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā with proper pronunciation and intonation. We are all indeed blessed to be a part of this divine family. Along with the Geeta recitation classes, these weekend Vivechan classes help in understanding the meaning of the Geeta shlokas so that we can inculcate the Geeta lessons in our life. Today we are having the interpretation session for the first half of the 17th Adhyaya of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. As the saying goes, Tena vina trunamapi na chalati. So let us start the session with the prayer. Let us surrender completely to the Almighty and seek the blessings. To do the Arambha Prarthana, we have Srimati Sushma Deshmukhji. Sushma ji is from Thane, Maharashtra. She is a retired graduate and she is interested in reading and music. Associated with Geeta Pariwar since April 2021, she has completed all 4 levels and she has passed the Geeta Jijnasu exam as well. She is offering Seva as a GC, or the group coordinator for L1 and L2 batches. I request Sushma Didi to do the prayer. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Didi. Vasudeva Sukam Devam Kamsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishna Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna sabhi ko.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Sushma ji. That was such a very nicely done, beautiful prayer, Didi. Thank you. Now it is time for lighting the lamp or Deepa Prajvalan. Let us ward off the tamas in and around us with the lighting the Jyoti, the light. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. So to do the Deepa Prajvalan, we have Srimati Archana Harihar, Sonku Sareji with us. Archana Didi ji is from Nagpur. She is an architect and interior designer and works as a teacher as well. Her hobbies are cooking, gardening, and painting. Associated with Geeta Pariwar since April 2022, she is doing Seva as a TA or a technical assistant for L1 and L2 batches while pursuing her own Geeta sadhana at L3 level. Archana ji, I request you to do the lighting the lamp. Jai Shri Krishna Didi.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Archana ji. That was so beautiful. Dhuparati, Deeparati, everything. We got to see your puja place as well. That was so divine. Thank you, Archana ji, one more time. And quick announcement. I think you might have received this banner in your respective groups. Geeta Pariwar is introducing a special Brahma Muhurta time slot at 4 a.m. starting from the June 2024's L1 batch. You will get the exact dates and details soon. Brahma Muhurta means the creator's time, and it is considered to be the most auspicious time to do the spiritual studies. So you please do make the most of this divine opportunity and also spread the word in your family and friend circles. Now it is the time for the most anticipated part of the session. And the speaker of the day is our respected Vikas Vaidya ji, Bhaiya ji. And he is so, I mean, I think you would have heard his Vivechan sessions earlier. He's a perfect combination of the Para and Apara Vidya. On the worldly side, he is a mechanical engineer and owns an IT company in Pune. And he is a globetrotter and polyglot as well, fluent in many Indian and foreign languages. On the spiritual side of it, he is a key member of the Geeta Pariwar, offering seva as a trainer for all the 4 levels, and is involved in trainer selections and also doing the training the trainer programs as well. As a member of Pune's Geeta Pariwar wing, he is playing the role of a trainer and as an interpreter of the Vishnu Sahasranama classes as well. Along with this impeccable seva, his own spiritual sadhana is equally impressive. He knows all the Gita Adhyayas by heart and has received first prize in the Gita Kanthastha Pariksha from the Paramapujya Jagadguru Shri Shankaracharya ji of Shrungeri Mutt. And Bhaiyaji recites all the 18 Adhyayas of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā every day, which he's been doing for the past 5+ years. He is indeed a role model in all the aspects. It is indeed our honor to have Vikas Bhaiyaji for today's Vivechan session as well. And as said earlier, today is the first half of the Shraddha-traya Vibhaga Yoga Adhyaya, 17th Adhyaya. Vikas Bhaiyaji, I request you to please illuminate our mind with your spiritual aptitude and expertise. Thank you, Vikas Bhaiyaji. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Vasudeva Sudan Devam Kausachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna sabko. पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन. Today we will take a new adhyay, 17th adhyay. Last week we concluded Daivasur Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, 16th adhyay, wherein we learned Daivi Gunas and Asuri Gunas. The focus was on cutting down on our Asuri Gunas and increasing on our Daivi Gunas. Now this adhyay, 17th adhyay, is Shraddha-traya Vibhaga Yoga. The total number of shlokas in this adhyay is 28. All shlokas are in Anushtup Chanda. No, not a single shlok in Trishtup Chanda. The speakers of shlokas, one shlok is from Arjuna and remaining all 27 are from Lord Shri Krishna. The name of this adhyay, as I said, is Shraddha-traya Vibhaga Yoga. Now we learned last week that Shri Krishna Bhagavan explained Daivi Sampatti and Asuri Sampatti in Adhyaya 16. Daivi attributes and Asuri attributes. Divine and demonic attributes we learned in 16th Adhyaya. And we also learned that one who acquires Daivi Sampatti, Daivi attributes, he gets the moksha, mukti, salvation, liberation. And the one who gets Asuri Sampatti, it causes his downfall in the lower spaces and to the hell, Narak. Human beings should therefore always be having good behavior. Therefore, Shri Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna advised us to remain within the limits of Shastra. Consider Shastra as a praman, as a standard, and decide what is your kartavya and what is your akartavya. What is prescribed karma for you and what is prohibited karma for you. Remain within the limits of Shastra. This is what we learned in 16th Adhyaya. Now the question is, one who does not know Shastra, that means the scriptures, the Vedas, he does not know. Many of us don't know. What about his Shraddha? He has Shraddha in his Antakaran. But what kind of Shraddha it will be categorized? It will be called Sattvic Shraddha or Rajasic Shraddha or tamasic Shraddha. And this is exactly what the question of Arjuna is in the beginning of this Adhyaya. That what Shraddha this person will have who has faith, but he does not know Shastra. So this is what Paramatma is going to explain in this Adhyaya. Shraddha Traya Vibhagayo. Now we know Shraddha is of three types. Satviki, Rajasic and tamasic. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance or mode of darkness. So these three types of Shraddhas we know. Now whatever are your Purva Sanskar, that means how the Sanskar get forms that we discussed in last session also, that whatever karmas we are doing, even karmas we do in this life or whatever karmas we have done in our previous lives, every karma done by us leaves an imprint on our antakaran. What is antakaran? Our mind, our intellect, and our subconscious mind. These three constitute our antakaran. So every karma that is done by us leaves an imprint on our antakaran. And at the end of life, we carry these three baggages with us of sattviki karmas and rajasic karmas and tamasic karmas. These are called our purva sanskar. Sanskar. Now, Bhagavad-Gītā says, Shraddha Mayoyam Purusha. That means every person has some Shraddha, not necessarily Sattvic Shraddha only. He may have Rajasic Shraddha, he may have Tamasic Shraddha. But Shraddha Mayoyam Purusha, every human being is having some Shraddha. Now, for having Sattvic Shraddha, one should have Sattvic Ahar, Sattvic eating Ahar. That is what we are going to learn from Lord Shri Krishna in this Adhyaya. We should have Sattviki Yajna, we should have Sattviki Tap, austerity. And to emphasize the importance of Sattvic Gunas, Shri Krishna Bhagavan explains in this Adhyaya, Ahar, that means eating, Yajna. Yajna in Bhagavad Gita has two connotations. One is the normal Yajna that we perform by burning some wooden pieces and offering some ghee and other things in the fire. Other Yajna is our Kartavya Karma. Similarly, Tapa and Dana. So what kind of Sattvika Ahar, what kind of Sattviki Yajna, what kind of Sattviki Tapa and what kind of Sattviki Dana we should have. In addition, there is importance of Kaik, that means body, Vachik, that means speaking, and Manasik, that means mind, Tapa. Tapa can be of three types. That is what we are going to learn in this Adhyaya. Now, every human being is expected to follow these tapas. Kaik tapa, Vachik tapa, and Manasik tapa. What are these? This we will also understand in this Adhyaya. The basic foundation of whatever you do, whether you do Yajna, that means your Kartavya Karma, whether you do Tapa, or whether you do Dana, that means Tyaga. The basic foundation of all this Yajna, Tapa, Dana is Shraddha. Shraddha is of utmost importance. And while performing Yajna or Tapa or Dana, there could be some shortcomings in performance of those. Therefore, Paramatma at the end of this Adhyaya will teach us a Maha Mantra. Om Tat Sat. That Maha Mantra also we are going to learn in this Adhyaya. Om Tat Sat. These three words indicate only Paramatma. Om is also Paramatma, Tat is also Paramatma, and Sat is also Paramatma. This is a Veda Vakya. Om Tat Sat. And what does it mean? Om Tat Sat means, yes, there is only one Satya, one truth, one Tattva that is true, and that is Paramatma. Om Tat Sat. Yes, there is only one Tattva, one principle, one truth, that is Paramatma. Om Tat Sat. So in short, one can experience Paramatma within him by acquiring Atma Gyan, self-realization. And Atma Gyan can be achieved by having Shraddha, Satvik Shraddha. And the basic foundation of Yajna, Tapa, Dana is Shraddha only. Shraddha means your faith. Adhyaya 16 and 17 are especially useful for family people, samsaric people like us, for learning these three types of Shraddhas. Therefore, the name of this Adhyaya is Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. So with this background, we'll start now reading of this Adhyaya, and we'll try to understand few shlokas of this Adhyaya in this session. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā Atha Saptadashodhyāyah. Arjuna Uvacho. Ye Shastra Vidimutsrujya Yajante Shraddhayanvitaha. Teshan Nishtha Ka Krishna Sattvamaho Rajastamaha. First shloka, Arjuna is putting up a question to Lord Krishna. Ye means those people who Shastra Vidhi, the regulation or the stipulations made in Shastra, that means our Vedas. Austerities, austerities means to give up, to ignore. Yajante, yajante is to worship. Shraddha, you know, Shraddha is full faith. Anvita, anvita means to possess something. Shraddhaya anvitaha means possessing Shraddha. Nishtha, nishtha is your faith. Ka, ka means what? Sattvam, sattvam is mode of goodness. Satvik, aho means otherwise, else. Raja is mode of passion, and Tama is mode of ignorance. So what does it all mean? Ye Shastra Vimutsrujya Yajante Shraddhayanvitaha Teshan Nishtha Tuka Krishna Sattvamaho Rajastamaha. Arjuna asks, those who, ignoring the scriptural guidance, scriptural stipulations, perform yajna with faith. They have faith in their antakaran. They have faith in their antakaran, but they don't know what is Shastra. So they keep performing yajna, dan, tapa without knowing the Shastra. What are the stipulations in Shastra? Arjuna asks, what is their situation? Krishna, what is their situation? Is their Shraddha be called satvik, Rajasic, or tamasic? As we discussed in the earlier chapter, Lord Shri Krishna explained the meaning of divine well and the demonic well, Devi Sampatti and Asuri Sampatti, and also explained the holders of divine attributes perform sattvic devotion. Those with demonic qualities, on the other hand, they enjoy hurting, insulting people, discarding all concepts of ethics and righteousness, and they transgress on the scriptural guidance. They don't care about scriptural guidance. Furthermore, they don't even respect their parents or gurus. And they are filled with a lot of proudy feeling, pride and arrogance. So these were the Asuri people. But then what is also seen is that such arrogant people do perform some worship sometimes, in some form or the other. Although their worship is against the scriptural guidance or mandate. Basically, there are two types of worships. That which is in accordance with the scriptural guidance, and the other which is against the scriptural guidance. Arjuna is asking a question to Lord Krishna to comment on the situation of people, the state of their antakaran, who perform some form of worship, but disregarding the scriptural guidance or scriptural ordinance. Ye Shastra Vimutsrujya Yajante Shraddhayanvitaha Teshan Nishtha Tuka Krishna Sattvamaho Rajastama. What kind of Shraddha it will be called? Now Paramatma is replying in the second shloka. Śrī-Bhagavānuvaca Trivida bhavati shraddha dehinam sa svabhavaja satviki rajasi chaivo tamasi chetitam shrunu. Paramatma says, Arjuna, Shraddha is of three types. Sattva, Rajatamo. Trivida, three kinds. Bhavati, to become. Dehinam. Dehinam, we are all embodied people, so we are all Dehinam. Swabhavaja, this is an important word. Swabhavaja, according to their innate nature. And how the innate nature gets formed? Based on our Purva sanskar. We discussed that our sanskar get forms based on our karmas that we keep performing. Iti means thus. Tam, that. Shrunu, that means hear. Now hear from me. Lord Krishna says, now Arjuna, any individual Shraddha faith that arises out of his or her innate nature is of three types. Satviki, Rajasi or tamasic. Lord says, as there is one is having sanskar, so are all one's thoughts, all the actions that you have performed in your previous lifetimes. The imprints that they have made on your antakaran, those deep impressions are known as your sanskar. And remember, these impressions are deeply rooted. They are deeply rooted in your subconscious mind, what we call as sanskar. Now, sanskars are the residue, the lingering remains of our previous actions and our previous thoughts. Whatever karmas we do, as we discussed, it leaves an imprint on our antakaran. And it is the sanskars that make your antakaran satvik, rajasi or tamasic. You may have some young children, we see it in our daily life, some young children who are full of so much of anger. Nobody has taught them how to get angry. But they keep venting out their anger at their parents. They keep throwing violent tantrums. They keep hurling and breaking things. Nobody has taught them. Such an irate child's sanskar is either Rajasi or tamasic, which has come to him from his Purva sanskar. The child is not consciously aware of it, of his sanskar at all. He is doing it. But all the rage, all the anger that he is doing in the form of hatred, anger, is a product of his Purva sanskar. Likewise, there are some children who, despite being very, very young, are quiet and gentle in their disposition. Again, this is a reflection of their sanskar. We see some young children of 1 or 2 years old also, they read Bhagavad-Gītā shlokas. Magical. So some toddlers readily and amicably fold their hands and show their respect to the elders. You go to their house and they will fold their hands and they will do namaskar to you without anybody teaching them. So this we are talking about infants and small children who have yet to receive any training as such. Thus their innate nature that gets reflected through their behavior. See, although the body is that of a small baby, the mind is very old. The mind that he is carrying is for last so many lives, so many births. Moreover, the sanskar lying in the mind are even older. And he is carrying those sanskars. Many a time, women bring along their toddlers when they come to see a sadhu or mahatma or swamiji. Now some young children, toddlers, they sit in their mother's lap so quietly and keep gazing at the swamiji so attentively as if they are understanding all the words that swamiji is speaking. Whereas other babies, they keep crying, shouting, showing tantrums. The mothers have to take them away from the discourse. A mind with demonic dominance will never want to sit with any Swamiji or any discourse of a saint. Thus, the child will keep on showing some tantrums if he is having some asuri sanskar from his previous lives, such that the parents have no option but to take away that child away from the discourse. The parents are not responsible for the child's behavior, but rather it is a reflection of his own sanskar. These sanskars exert a powerful influence on our nature, our behavior, our likes, our dislikes, our interests, and our tendencies in life. And it is the sanskar that awaken faith in you. Now this faith can be satvik faith, Rajasic faith, or tamasic faith. Isn't it? So further Paramatma says in shlok number 3, Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddhamayoyam purusho. Remember this. Shraddhamayoyam purusho yo yachchaddasya eva saha. Now Paramatma says Sattva Anurupa, according to the existence that you have, sarvasya, of everyone, shraddha, faith, bhavati, bhavati is the form of to be, that means to become. Bharata is called for Arjuna, maya, that means full of, ayam, ayam means this, purusha, purusha means any living entity, not necessarily purush, stri also included, ya, who, yat, means having, shraddha is faith, we know. So Paramatma says in this shloka, Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddhamayo yam purusho yogyat shraddhasya eva saha. Paramatma says, an individual's faith is in accordance with his innate nature. Man as his faith. Man is as his faith. You are what your shraddha is. Man is as his faith. So as are the sanskars, so is the nature of a person. So are these choices, preferences are in life. Whatever is your preference and choices in life are as per the shraddha that you have. In olden times, there used to be a tradition wherein the elders in the family would keep an array of objects in front of the newly born baby. उसके सामने बहुत चीजें रख देते थे. This would include things like some toys, money, food items, books, or some japa mala japa also, and so on. And it was believed that whatsoever object that newly born baby would touch, that would give an idea about the field of activity he would choose in future when he grows up. So to indicate what kind of sanskars he has carried from his previous life. There is a story of Guru Govinda Singh that when he was a toddler, he was a child, his parents also in front of him kept so many things. So they kept one copy of Quran and one copy of Bible, also Geeta and all. So he touched everything. In one go, he touched everything. So it indicated that he will be same for all human beings in the life. Some children display a flair for music or dance in their when they are very, very young. Right in their infancy also they show. And some wise parents pick up the their child's innate talent. They understand, yes, this fellow is interested in music or singing, and provide him with appropriate background, appropriate guidance, so that the child flourishes in the activity in which he has shown his interest since the time when he is a toddler. These innate tendencies are a reflection of the underlying sanskar that toddler is having. But do we really care about all this? We keep on forcing our ideas, our thoughts, our likes, our dislikes on our children without bothering about what are his likes and dislikes from his previous innate nature. Okay, we go to next shloka. Further, Paramatma says, Yente satvika devan yaksha rakshansi rajasaha pretan bhutaganashchanye yajante tamasa janaha. Now Paramatma says, Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshansi rajasaha pretan bhutaganashchanye yajante tamasa janaha. those who have tamasic pravritti, they will worship the Rakshasas. And those who are having satviki, Yajante Sattvika Devan, they will worship the Devas, gods. Satvik being they worship Devas, demigods. Rajasic, they worship Yaksha and Rakshasas. And tamasic, they will worship Pretas and Bhutas, that means spirits and ghosts. Sri Krishna Bhagavan says, people's worship is influenced by their innate nature, their sanskars, which in turn is decided by their sanskar, their innate nature decided by their sanskar. Thus, a satvik person will worship the deities, the demigods. The Rajasic will worship Yaksha and demons, Yaksha Rakshasa. Whereas the Tamasic will worship ghosts and spirits. See, a Tamasic person will choose a deity as Tamasic as he himself is. Kala Bhairav, they worship Kala Bhairav, many people. A Rajasic individual wants to worship a deity that will fulfill his Rajoguna, his Kamana, his Rajoguna, his desires. There is a story. Once a man went to a Hanuman temple and he started praying to the Hanumanji to fulfill his desire of getting married. Hanumanji ko prarthana kar rahe, meri shadi karwa do. A Pandit was hearing his prayer in the temple. He said to him, "Oh my dear, what are you saying? You are asking marriage gift from whom? From a brahmachari, Bal brahmachari. If you want to pray Hanumanji, then you should ask for celibacy, brahmachari, strength, or devotion to Rama. That is what you should ask from Hanuman. But if you are desirous of marriage, then you are asking the wrong god, wrong deity. You should go to Krishna's temple for fulfillment of the desire if you want to get married." Now, many Hindus prefer worshipping a goddess like Durga because they believe that it is easier to please a goddess than a god. It is another matter that despite worshipping Durga, some people have no repentance in insulting women in their own household, aborting the female born in their house. Such is their downright hypocrisy. On one side, worship Durga, and on the other side, keep insulting women folk. So people worship different deities, demigods and goddess with the motivation of fulfilling their materialistic desire, worldly desires. But what about the people who have no worldly desires, no samsaric kamana, who wants nothing from the material world? Who will such person worship then? He has no demands from material world. He will worship Mahadeva, who anoints ash on his body. We see Mahadeva's picture. Who is the Lord of death? Who is the Lord of Pralaya? The one whose chitta is full of vairagya is considered to be a person who can worship Shiva, because Shiva is full of vairagya. However, having dramatized the mythological films, many people misguided. They believe that it is easy to please Shiva. So they worship Shiva seeking worldly objects. They want something from the material world and they keep worshipping Shiva. Little do they realize what can Shiva, the embodied vairagya, give to other than vairagya, what Shiva can give you. He who wants to awaken vairagya, who wants to experience jnana, who wants his mind to be in complete repose, he only should worship Shiva. But the confused people like us, we continue worshipping deities, seeking material objects and fulfillment of our materialistic desires. Thus they sing Arti, and although they are really melodious in singing the Arti, they nevertheless include some questionable verses in Artis. Many Artis you see, the wordings of Artis. Artis will say, bless us with some wealth, prosperity, and bless us all that our pain and bodily problems, ailments get eradicated, and our happiness lasts forever. Every arati will have this one stanza requesting that particular deity for these three blessings. Now, what sort of request is this? If you have performed unrighteous, sinful karmas, sinful deeds, then you will have to reap the consequences of your papa karma in the form of either body diseases or loss of wealth or some calamity or other. Pleasure and pain are the fruits of our own karmas. So we are asking God through Arti to break and violate the law of karma. I have done bad karma, but keep blessing me with good health, good wealth, everything. Arey wow, bhai, acha hai. You keep doing papa karma, and on the other hand, you keep asking for blessings from the God or goddess for blessing you with wealth and good health and everything. So some of these are objectionable, so as to say, wordings, but probably these have been added by some materialistic people who have their mind in material world more than on spiritual world. So they added all these stanzas in these artis to grant them this, grant them that. This is total materialistic demand, no? So we don't think, that the sages who have written the basic artis would include this kind of things. Moreover, see, if there is no pleasure, there is no happiness in your life, and your body suffers from some kind of disease or some kind of ailments, or you happen to lose your wealth, will your faith in God be uprooted then, or will it evaporate, or will it continue to be there? Is your love and faith in God conditional? That if the God gives me good health, if He gives me good money, then I will have faith in God. Is your faith conditional? As long as you give me pleasures and treasures, I will worship you. But if you take this away from me, then I will hate you, God. You may be God, but I will hate you. Is this the condition for our devotion? So those who are desirous of wealth, they worship the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, especially on the occasion of Diwali, Lakshmi Puja. They enthusiastically worship the silver coins and notes with the desire that they get more and more of these coins and more of cash. Our sages have said Maya is to be renounced. But far from relinquishing it, we people are passionately engaged in worshipping the Maya. We want more and more of Maya. And our saints say, do away with Maya. So those who worship wealth as God or goddess, such people are Rajoguni. And if this is what people want to do, then Pujya Swamiji will say, no objection. You can have your own choices. To repeat Lord Krishna's words, those who are Rajoguni will worship Rajoguni deities. Those who are Sattvaguni will worship Sattvaguni deities. People desirous of attaining wealth are willing to do anything and everything for attaining that wealth. They worship these deities who they believe will grant their wishes quickly. In 7th Adhyaya, there is a sloka, Kama istesthirta jnana prapadyantena devataha. For getting your kamanas fulfilled, you keep running around to many deities. If this God is giving this, I will worship him. So if someone tells them to offer, say, alcohol, daru, at the Bhairava temple in Ujjain, there is a Bhairava temple, and people, I don't know out of what faith, they offer a bottle of alcohol to that deity. Since when, I don't know, but I have seen it myself in Ujjain. So this is a tamasi pravritti. As you are, so your deity will be. If you are tamasic, your deity will be tamasic. You will choose tamasic deity only. And as explained in Gita earlier, our tendencies, our inclinations are decided by our own innate nature, and our innate nature is formed based on our sanskars. So thus, the story begins and ends with our sanskars only, because they play a decisive role in shaping our habits, our likes, our dislikes, our attributes. Okay, let us proceed on to the next shloka. Ashastravidam ghoram tapyante ye tapo janaha dambhahankara sanyuktah kamaragavalanvitaha. Paramatma says, those men who practice very troublesome austerities against the scriptural guidance. People do ghor tapa. They do this because they are driven by their pride, false pride. They are driven by hypocrisy. They are driven by their ego. They are driven by their lust, kamana. And they are driven by their attachments in life. So, ashastra vidam ghoram tapyante yev tapo janaha dambhahankar sanyuktah kamaragavalanvitaha. The Lord has already talked about different types of faith and worships. We have done 16th Adhyaya. Now he describes different types of tapa, austerities. One is in accordance with the Vedas, scriptural guidance, and the other contrary, that means against the scriptural mandate. If you perform austerities, tapas, in keeping with your spiritual belief guidance, it will be in your own interest. Because the acts of merit will lead you to purification of your antakaran. You are following the guidance of Vedas, scriptures, and it will lead you to the purification of your antakaran. But some people, they practice tapas, austerities, only for getting some kind of recognition, some kind of acclaim, praise in the society. For example, a man had observed silence for 5 years or so. On further inquiry, one comes to know that he was doing all this simply because people used to come from far off places to see this man who has not spoken a word in 5 years. So that was giving him some kind of pride that I am a great man. See, one gets to see a variety of such amazing Babas in Kumbha or Sinhastha Mela if you happen to go. Somebody standing on one leg for many years. Somebody standing on his head upside down for many years. People do some horrible things. Someone is famous for dangling from the tree branches. And the other is known widely for his long nails. They keep long nails because he had never cut the nails. So, we don't want to insult such tapasvis. They may have their own reason. But as far as our Vedas or our scriptures are concerned, nowhere it is said that you raise your nails or hang yourself on the tree branch. On the contrary, Vedas, they advise cleanliness of the body. And if you are keeping long nails, how can you keep your body clean? There was one such man who did everything lying down. He said, I will not get up. Lying down is my tapa. He will eat, he will do his regular body work also lying down. So there are some such austerities which are certainly not advocated in our scriptures. But these are later on invented by people as per their own whims and fancies. Shri Krishna says, self-righteous hypocrisy, pride, ego, lust, and attachment, these are the gunas, avagunas rather, they impel people to perform this kind of horrible austerities. There was a sadhu who was in Kumbh Mela, wherein he had always been a celibate, a brahmachari. Now, had he led a household life before becoming monk? If you ask some sadhu like this, he will reply, actually I wanted to get married. I did not want to become a brahmachari, honestly. I wanted to get married. But somehow that did not happen in time. And before I knew it, I had crossed my marriageable age. So then I thought, okay, if I cannot get married now, why don't I become sadhu instead? Now, how much seeking sadhana will there be in such a sadhak who is under force has become a sadhu? Because he did not get married, he became a sadhu. And all this will lead to the escalation of hypocrisy in him, the pride in him, the attachment in him, and nothing more than that. Such a person can never become a sadhak. Okay. So let us proceed on to shlok number 6. Paramatma says, Karshayanta sharirastam bhuta gramam chetasaha Anchaivanta sharirastam tan vidyasura nishchayan. Karshayantas. Karshayan means krush, thin, tormenting. Sharirastham, situated in the body. Bhuta grama. Bhuta is living entity. Grama is their group, living entities. Achetasaha. That means people who have misled mentality. Achetasaha. Mam is me. Paramatma says me. Antaha. Antaha means within. Sharirastham, we say, situated in the body. Tam means they. Vidhi is to understand. Asura nishchaya, that means they are demons. So Paramatma says, Karshayanta sharirastam bhuta gramam chetasaha manchevanta sharirastam tan vidya sura nishchaya. Those who torture the elements of constituting the body, and me too, who is situated in their antakaran. Mama imamsho jiva loke, I am situated in them. By torturing their body, they are punishing me. Such people, Arjuna, know that they are demonic in nature. Shri Krishna says, such demonic persons, they perform all kinds of ghastly, so-called austerities that catch their fancy, which are not validated by scriptures. Such ignorant beings are completely ignorant about the fact that I, the Supreme Lord, is residing in their body. Sharirastham. I am residing there antakaran. In the name of devotion, such confused people, they torture their bodies by piercing. We see in the Mela also. They pierce their bodies. Here say, yahan se nikalenge, yahan nikalenge. Or nose or ears, they will keep piercing their body, inserting the hot iron rod in their mouth, or lash themselves with a whip and whatnot, horrible things. We cannot even see those. But they consider this as a tapa. Paramatma says they are all demonic people. They don't realize that they are punishing me, who is residing there antakaran in their body. Shri Krishna says these people don't realize that by torturing their body, in effect, they are inflicting pain upon me. The all-knowing divinity that resides in their body, they are ignoring that and they keep punishing me also. Shri Krishna says there are many who torture their bodies for they believe the body is theirs. Mera sharir mein kuch bhi karunga. And they can do as they please. But this is totally improper, not correct. He has already described, Lord Krishna has already described in the earlier chapters that how one should perform all actions judiciously in proper proportion. In 6th Adhyaya we learn, Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Everything should be in proportion, right proportion. Ahar should be in proportion. Vihar, playing also should be in proportion. Nidra should be in proportion. And Jagrut Avastha should also be in proportion. Everything should be in proportion. Your eating should be in proportion. Your fasting should be in proportion. Everything should be done judiciously. Going to extreme is not advocated by Krishna or by anywhere in Bhagavad-Gītā. Yukta ahara viharas. Everything should be judiciously done in proper proportion. So whether it is eating or sleeping or waking or working or performing even spiritual practices, everything should be done judiciously in the right proportion. Everything ought to be done appropriately with prudence, with understanding. Thus don't punish or torture your body, says Lord Krishna in this shloka. Further, you should always be cautious that you don't become egoistic about the practice or the austerities that you perform. I have done fasting for 3 days without eating anything. You become proudy, egoistic. This is very important because the proud feeling that has crept into your mind from the back door, and it will remain in your habits then. You will become proudy for everything. In Jainism, many times monks practice a particular austerity for a prolonged period of time. For example, someone may drink only water. Some Jain sadhu will drink only water. For 40 days, he will drink only water, nothing else. And when the fast is over, everyone gathers to celebrate and honor that Jain sadhu. Oh my God, this Jain sadhu was remaining on water only for 40 days. For having accomplished this kind of austerity, there will be a celebration. Huge processions will be taken, and monk, that sadhu, will be publicly appreciated, acclaimed, and lauded for all his or her achievements. Now, it is more than likely that some other sadhus, some other monks, some other Jain sadhus, watching all this acclaim, all this appreciation, what this sadhu has got, appreciation, celebration, what he has enjoyed, they may think, well, I can do better than him. He has fasted based on water for 40 days. I will do it for 60 days. And thus it becomes a contest. उसने 40 दिन किया तो मैं 60 दिन करके दिखाऊंगा. And people get caught up in this kind of trap of envious behavior, competitiveness, envious competitiveness. Where is sadhana in all this? Nothing. It is only for their proud feeling. See, Jain practices, they are based on some sound scientific reasoning. But sometimes people don't understand the basics of these practices and thus end up in using them inappropriately. Sri Krishna says, follow the practice with proper understanding. Be careful so that you don't become egoistic of having performed that kind of austerity, that kind of tapa. So instead of fasting for a long time, control how much you eat every day. However, in this context, we must know that there is a certain objective behind the practice, like prolonged fasting. When one fasts for a long period of time, long duration, then gradually, with not only the body, but importantly the mind too, not getting adequate sustenance, there is a distinct possibility of a moment that arises when you may see yourself as separate from your body. This is the magic of fasting people have experienced. They do fasting for a number of days with this understanding that they want to separate their mind from body. And then they experience this. And this is the aim, the purpose of observing prolonged fasting. But if you are unaware of this basic logic behind doing such austerities, then, but naturally, the practice will become a punishment for you. You don't know what you are going to achieve of all this. Likewise, it involves staying awake in the nights for consecutively 40 days. 40 nights you keep awake. Now again, this can become a torture. You've done without understanding the logic behind it. So what is the logic? The purpose of this practice is not to conquer sleep. That is not the purpose. But rather it is an experiment to see if one can get more understanding of the phenomena of sleep. Where does the sleep come from? Is it possible for one to be awake when the sleep happens to the body? Is it possible to sleep with a trace of awareness? आप सोए हैं, but your mind is still working. Can we have this kind of experience? Wakefulness, you are sleeping, but you are still awake. So wakefulness, experiencing wakefulness when you are sleeping. These are the questions one is seeking, and he is trying to find practical answers by observing this kind of austerity of remaining awake for a longer period of time. These are the questions he has in his mind, and he wants to find the answer. So there has to be some logic when you are entering into any kind of austerity. The jagran, that means keeping awake. Does not mean doing some kirtan. Jagran means staying awake in the night and performing one's spiritual practices. Thus know that there is a specific goal and aim behind observing the austere practices, doing tapa. But many do this only to torture their bodies, and this is what Lord Krishna is criticizing. Don't do this. Don't punish, don't torture your body. Whereas Lord is clearly stating here that one should not punish the body, and tormenting the body should not be the primary objective of any tapa. So this should be kept in mind. Okay. Further, Paramatma says, Trivido bhavati priyaha yajnastapastadhadanam tesham vedavimam shru. Further, Paramatma says, ahar. Ahar is our eating. Sarvasya, of everyone. Trivida, three types. Bhavati, there is. Priya, he is calling Arjuna a priya, it means dear Arjuna. Yajna. Yajna, as we discussed, has two connotations in Gita. One is your performing sacrifice, that means typical yajna, burning gold pieces and all that. And another is kartavya karma, your prescribed duty. Tapa. Tapa is austerity. Tapa also has two connotations. What is the second connotation of tapa? We are living our day-to-day life in which we get sometimes favorable situations, sometimes unfavorable situations. Ignoring favorable or unfavorable, when we keep performing our kartavya karma or prescribed duty, we are doing a tapa. So tapa has its meaning also in Bhagavad Gita. Tatha danam, also danam is charity. Tesham, of them, vedam imam shrunu. What are the differences between them? Just listen it from me now. Aharastapi sarvasyat trivido bhavati priyaha yajnastapastadha danam tesham vedam imam shrunu. Depending upon one's innate nature, one's own sanskar, there are three kinds of foods liked by people. Likewise, there are three distinct types of yagyas. There are three types of tapas. There are three types of charities, danas. Now listen from me the differences between them. What are the differences between yajna, dana, tapa? Depending upon people's different choices, their innate nature. So to explain it further, Paramatma says, Ayu sattva bala arogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasya snigdha sthira aridhya ahara satvik priyaha. Now Paramatma is starting with the ahar. Three types of ahar. Ayu. Ayu is our age. The duration of our life is our ayu. Sattva. Sattva is to exist. Bala. Bala is our strength. Arogya. Arogya is health, of course. Sukha. Happiness. Priti. Satisfaction. Vivardhana. Vivardhana is to increase. Rasya. Rasa. That means juicy. Snigdha. Snigdha means with some kind of fat. Like our butter or the ghee that we eat. That is snigdha. Sthira. Sthira is giving us stability. Hridaya. Hridaya means pleasing to our heart. Ahar. Ahar is eating that we do, our food. Satvik. Satvik is in the mode of goodness. Priya is palatable. So Paramatma says, Ayu sattva bala arogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasya snigdha sthira aradhya ahara sattvika priya. Food which increases augments our longevity, our life. Intelligence, strength, health, joy, cheerfulness. And the food which is juicy, which is appropriately salty or spicy, which is nourishing and which is palatable, this kind of food is dear to one who is sattvic in his disposition. So sattvic people like this kind of ahar. See, oil means snigdham is not oily. Snigdham is not oily. Snigdham is something oil containing, not oily. Butter, ghee, they are good for health. No? So food is very important part of our life, and thus Lord Krishna says about this in great details, about the food and about the eating habits. Eating food just because you like its taste, it is not correct. You like the delicious food, that's why you eat it, it's not correct. This is because more often than not, this kind of food is rich in saturated taste and is not so good for your health. Samosa खाने में अच्छा लगता है, but not really good for health. So what's more, the fatty food is difficult to digest, and hence a lot of body energy is used just for digesting that kind of fatty food. See, what dhyana or what asana or what pranayama will one be able to do when the body energy has gone down? Furthermore, eating some kind of fatty food increases the lethargy. Sleep and inertia gets increased. And how can such a sleepy, lethargic, listless person become a devotee? Can he become a sadhak? Likewise, certain foods like the red kidneys, rajma, they produce a lot of gas, and thus they lead to symptoms of indigestion. See, many people, especially those from, I would say, Punjab, North India, they love the dish of rice and rajma. Rajma rice is very famous because they like the taste of it. But what is the point in eating such food wherein although the tongue gets satisfied, but the stomach starts rumbling and the acidity increases? Sattvic food is that which imparts health, vitality, strength, intelligence, longevity to the body. Such food is balanced. It is agreeable to the mind and neither too dry nor too greasy. Appropriately. The food should be palatable and balanced. Some insist on eating only raw vegetables. Some dietitians, they say, raw kakadi khaiye, raw gajar khaiye, raw muli khaiye. So they believe in eating raw vegetables. Now, this will invariably lead to increase in the gas production. So use your own discretion. Eating some salad is fine. But the diet should not consist of only uncooked and raw vegetables. That should not become your total diet. People say, I will not eat food, I will eat only raw vegetables. That's not correct. You can eat part of salad. The food should neither be raw, nor should be overcooked. It should be cooked appropriately and aesthetically. Cooking is an art, a skill. And moreover, one should cook with love, enjoying the activity of cooking. Furthermore, certain food items should not be eaten in certain seasons. For example, one should avoid eating yogurt in Shravana, July, August, September. What to eat, how to cook, how to eat, you should be well versed with all these aspects when we are a sadhak. Eating wrong things at wrong time may disrupt our sadhana. Okay. Further, Paramatma says in nice shloka, Katvam lalavana atyushna tikshna ruksha vidahinaha ahara rajasasyeshta dukkha shokamaya pradaha. Katvam lalavana atyushna tikshna ruksha vidahinaha. Katu is bitter. Katu is bitter. Amla is sour. नींबू होता है ना. लवणा is salty. Ati ushna, very hot, very spicy. Tikshna, pungent. Ruksha, dry. Vidahina, something which gives you burning. Ahar is food. Rajasya is Rajasi, that means mode of passion. Ishta, palatable. Dukkha, distress. Shoka, misery. Amaya, disease. So these are this kind of foods, Katvam Ravana Tishna Tishna Ruksha Vidahinaha, food that is too bitter, that is too sour, that is too salty, that is too hot, too spicy, or too pungent, too dry and burning. Such food which produces misery, worry, and disease is dear to the Rajasic individuals. So this is second category of people, what they like. This kind of food is like. Sometimes we also like, no? So at that moment we also become Rajasic, for example. Further, tamasic people, what they like? Yataya mangatarasam uti paryushitain chayat uchishtava vichamidam bhojanam tamasa priyam. This is the liking of tamasic people. Yatayamam. Yataya means food which is cooked 3 hours before eating. According to Ayurveda, वो बासी food है, which is cooked 3 hours before you are eating. Gata rasam, gata means gone, rasam is taste, tasteless, gata rasam. Puti, smelling bad is puti. Paryushitam, which is decomposed. Yet that which Uchishtam किसी का झूठा खाना, मतलब it is eaten by somebody and left over by them. That uchishtam. Amedhyam, untouchable, like non-vegetarian food. Bhojanam, eating. Tamasi, in the mode of ignorance, darkness. Priyam is dear. So yatayamang gatasam poti parishitanjat uchishtam amedhyam bhojanam tamasa priyam. Food which is stale, which is rancid, foul smelling, impure, or leftover, uchishtam. Such food is dear to the tamasic individual. Fruits and vegetables ought to be eaten in the season they grow and they ripen. अभी आम का सीजन, आम खाइए, जरूर खाइए. Only then they will give you full of their natural juices, nutrients, and flavors. Those who keep traveling to UK or USA, they can see that the fruits and vegetables, although appear very pleasing to the eyes, nevertheless, they lack taste and their nutritional content is low. You see, or you eat mango in India, hapus mango in India, and you try mango eating in US or UK, you will feel the difference. Tasteless. जितने में बड़ा दिखेगा, but tasteless. This is a combined consequence of genetic modification in those fruits and the freezing. They eat everything from the cold storage. That depletes the fruit or vegetable of its nutrient value. What's more, when the fruit finally gets to the market, it is made up. Made up in the sense, उसका मेकअप करते हैं. कैसा मेकअप करते हैं? For example, the apple is coated with wax to increase its luster and to make it more appealing to the customer. चमक रहा है एप्पल, बहुत बढ़िया दिख रहा है, but it is wax coated. Now Indian also have started doing that. So Shri Krishna says that the tamasic like eating food that is stale, cold, rotten, or impure. The Lord tells us what to eat and what not to eat. Thus be careful about what you eat and how you eat. Moreover, Let us bear in mind that cooking needs not only to a great degree of skill, but it should be cooked with cheerfulness, peaceful and loving mind. If the housewife is cooking with lot of anger in her mind, maybe she will make tasteless food and the person eating it will not also enjoy. किसी ने बहुत गुस्से में खाना बनाया, so would you like to eat that? No. So the sentiment with which the food is cooked, remember that sentiment becomes the part of food. If you make it lovingly, that love becomes the part of the food. But say if sometimes you have no option but to eat food that you know that has not been cooked appropriately, then what we can do? No choice. Then pray to the God for His grace, so that the food you have eaten does not harm you, and instead it augments your sattva guna. It may be Rajasic food, it may be tamasic food, but you pray to the God, God, I have no choice to eat this, but let this increase my sattva guna only. Let it enhance your discriminatory wisdom, your viveka buddhi, your love, your remembrance of the divine. Mentally offer the food first to the God. So when you offer it to the God, the food gets sanitized. The food gets sanitized. That's why when we sit for lunch or dinner, we say, in Marathi, there's a shloka like that. And we offer it to the God first, so that we sanitize the food before eating it. So this is one way of eating the food. Paramatma advocates. Next shloka, 11. Afala kankshibir yajna vidhi drishto ye ichyate yashtavyamevedi manas samadhaya satvikaha. Now yajna. Paramatma says yajna. Afala kankshibhi. Those who have no desire for return or reward. Afala kankshika. Akanksha, to keep some expectations. Afala. No phala. I don't want any phala. Those who have no desire for any return or reward. Yajna. Yajna we have discussed many times. Sacrifice or kartavya karma. Vidhi drishta. According to the guidance or stipulations in our scriptures. Opposite of vidhi drishta is vidhihina. That we'll see in the next shloka. Yeah means which? Ijjate. Ijjate is to perform. Yashtavyam. Must be performed. Samadhaya. Samadhaya is to find samadhan. That means to resolve, to fix. Sattvika in the mode of goodness. So Paramatma says, Apala kankshiviti yajna vidhi drishtoya ijjate yashtavyamevedi manas samadhaya sattvika. Yajnas performed in accordance with the scriptural injunction, scriptural guidance, and regarding it as one's duty. Yajna is kartavya karma. So performing kartavya karma is my duty. I am not obliging anybody by doing my duty. Such yajnas performed by individuals who are not desirous of any fruits, that means return the reward of their yajna, their kartavya karma. These yajnas are deemed to be satvik yajnas. Understand the basic principle that any action inspired by the desire or when we expect some return reward is rajoguni. On the other hand, when there is no desire for the return reward, such actions are sattvaguni. The karma can be same, but the sentiment behind that karma decides whether it is a sattvic karma or rajasic karma. Desire, expectation of reward or appreciation or praise, it entails the presence of rajoguna. Then whatsoever the action may be, it may be yajna, it may be tapa, it may be dana, it may be tirtha, seva, whatever. So if you feed a hungry person with motivation of accruing appropriate merit so that you don't have to face hunger in future, then this is a desire prompted action. मैं भूखे को खाना खिला रहा हूं so that I also don't remain hungry anytime in my life. There's a desire. And anything attached with desire makes your karma rajasic. Often people donate money to the temple or build hospitals or anadashram, orphanages, or even schools, with the hope that their good deeds will give them good return, reward in their life. They will give them at least happiness. These actions are undeniably virtuous, very good actions. But they are laced with expectation, return, reward. Even if it is generic as attainment of punya, that I will acclaim, I will get punya by doing this kind of meritorious activities, it is a Rajasic thing. Desire of getting punya is nevertheless a desire. Hence, actions prompted by such desire, they too are deemed to be Rajoguni. On the other hand, actions which are not prompted or motivated by any desire are Sattvaguni actions. The actions is the same, but the difference is whether it is laced, it is attached with desire, or it is bereft, it is without desire. The intention behind any action decides the nature of action, whether it is Rajasi or Sattvic. Sattvaguni person, he does yajnas in accordance with the scriptural stipulations, guidance, but keeps no expectation, no desires. Not even the desire of attaining any merit or attaining any peace of mind, no desire whatsoever at all. Now you may ask, why should one act at all if there is no underlying motivation or desire or expectation? Then what is the driving force? Ordinarily, people perform havan at home on some joyous occasion, like the birth of a child in the house or marriage in the family. And they occasionally perform dravya yajna. That means which involves offering the materials like food, grains, offering it to people. Shraddha, other Shraddha. Shraddha, when we perform annual Shraddha of our forefathers, is one such yajna wherein one donates some material or objects to the Panditji or to Brahmins. Now, in the context of this Rajasic ritualistic yajnas, we should remember that anything performed with expectation of return reward is Rajasic. This is the story of Meghnad, a character from Ramayana. Meghnad had performed a yajna at the time of the war between Rama and Ravana. Vibhishana informed Rama that if the yajna got completed, it would prove to be dangerous for Rama. Thus he advised that the yajna ought to be disrupted. If Ravana is successful in completing the yajna, it may give him more strength. So Lakshmana volunteered to break the yajna to disrupt the yajna. Now we may think that by disrupting a yajna, it is an art of impropriety, not correct. But let us bear in mind, the motive behind performing that yajna was not very good. So to disrupt a yajna which was to be performed with some bad intentions in the mind is not a sinful act. See, there are divine and demonic forces in this world. And if someone is performing a yajna to invoke demonic forces, then this can lead to a very violent and dangerous situation. Therefore, Lakshmana went to this and created such a ruckus that he created such a disturbance that the proceedings of that yajna got completely disrupted. So this is to be kept in mind, that whatever you do should be with good intentions. Okay, let us go on to next sloka. Abhisandaya tu phalam dambhar vichaivu yat ijjate bharata sreshta sanyajnam vidhi rajasam. Now what is Rajasi yajna? Yajna offered seeking either the fruits, that means return reward, or as a pompous display. Know that yajna to be Rajasi, Arjuna. Actions that are motivated by self-righteously hypocrisy, by exhibition, display of one's wealth or power is Rajasic. Even if the karma is related to religious activities, even then it is Rajasic. Furthermore, wealth, that has been acquired by immoral or unethical or illegal, means even if it is donated for charities, it still does not become sattvic. आपने ब्लैक मनी कमाया और डोनेट कर दिया, that does not make you sattvic. Thus, if someone earns say 10 crores of rupees by corrupt or fraudulent means and then gives away 1 crore out of it for some religious event or some charity, thinking that it will save him from the papa karma that he has done. Well, there is no bigger fool than that. There is no bigger ignorant person than that. It is not what you give, it is how you give, with what sentiments and intentions you give, that counts. The Shri Krishna says, we know Shri Krishna stories. That handful of rice brought by that poor Sudama, it made Shri Krishna happy. And he happily ate, Shri Ram also happily ate Shabri's half-eaten boar, that means that those berries. So Paramatma can be happy with these small things also. You don't have to do tens of crores expenditure for pleasing the Paramatma. So whether it was Sudama or Vidur, their actions of serving Shri Krishna were not motivated by any expectation of desire. They did not want anything in return, nor did they seek any name or acclaim praise from anyone. Shri Krishna refuses to eat the lavish, sumptuous food offered by Duryodhana. He declined invitation from Duryodhana because the food was Rajasic, tamasic. But he happily took the simple food offered to him by Vidur or Sudama because it was sattvic food. Shri Krishna has already explained that a devotee, a seeker, ought to eat sattvic food only. Having said that, it is very important, very much possible rather, that at times you are faced with a situation wherein you know that you have eaten the served unhealthy food, which is inappropriate for your well-being. Now, instead of getting angry on your host or your spouse, if she has cooked that food, it is much better to see it as a divine inspiration to fast that day. आज मैं उपवास रखता हूँ, आज मैंने गलत खाना खाया है, तो I will do the fasting. So politely inform that host that you are observing a fast and hence cannot eat that food anymore. In this way, one is able to safeguard one's interest without hurting or condemning others. After all, what is the point in getting angry or lecturing someone that they don't know how to cook the food, how to cook the good food, how to cook the sattvic food? Such a reaction on your part will get you only one thing, and that is another enemy in the life. इनको खाना खिलाया और मुझे गाली दे रहे हैं इन लोग, कैसे लोग हैं? So you will create one enemy for you. Make friends, not enemies. That should be the principle of life. But many people tend to make more enemies, often because of their very proudy, holier than thou attitude. I am great. मैं आपसे ज़्यादा पुण्यात्मा हूँ. So they will try to exhibit, and in the process they will create more enemies. Remember, in the presence of self-righteous hypocrisy and proudy feeling, even the righteous action does not remain sattvic. You may be sattvic, but when you become proudy about your sattvicness, it does not remain a sattvic attribute at all. So Shri Krishna says, those people who perform yajnas with the intention of exhibiting their power, their wealth, their opulence, then no matter how grand such yajnas are, thousands of people may be coming, but know that yajnas which have been done with the sole intention of exhibition of wealth, exhibition of opulence, or exhibition of proudy feeling, such yajnas are Rajasic in nature. The yajna become Rajasic because it is performed with an expectation, a desire of some return or reward. So such yajnas are Rajasic. Now what is tamasic yajna? That we'll discuss in the next session. There is already a lot of time that I have spoken for. So we'll take from Shlok 13 onwards in the next session. Jai Shri Krishna, and thanks to all for listening to me patiently. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Vikas Bhayaji. That was very, very enlightening. How you highlighted the swabhava, how it is so ingrained because of the thing, and then also highlighting the aspect of the food, right? In the today's era of processed food and ready to eat food, what is the importance of having the right food and making sure the food is cooked in the right manner, because ultimately we are what we eat. Thank you, Bhayaji, highlighting all these aspects so nicely. And before we go for the question and answer session, just a quick announcement for those who might have missed it earlier. Geeta Pariwar is introducing a special Brahma Muhurta time slot batch at 4 a.m. Indian Standard Time, starting from June 2024 L1 batch. It is as the name suggests, it's the creator's time. It is considered to be very auspicious to pursue the spiritual studies. So please do spread the word in your family and friends groups, and do make the most of this divine learning opportunity. And it's time for, we already see many hands raised. So please raise your hand and turn on your video. We will be taking sadhakas one by one. Yes. And first, Aparna ji. Jai Shri Krishna Didi. You can ask your question. Aparna ji, can you hear us? Yes, Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes, I can. Jai Shri
Yes.
Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I wanted to ask what goes in shaping a person's personality, the previous life's karma or the sanskars which the parents would have given in this birth. What is more predominant?
See, predominant is your karma. Your parents will always be teaching you good things to do. But have you are accepting that? Are you following the advice of your parents? So your parents may be advising, but finally what you do is more important than their advice. So your karma are more predominant than the advice of your parents.
No, what I want to know is like, is our brains, our mind, is it functioning on the basis of what might be our previous birth's karma, or is it because of the sanskars our parents have given? How does our mind function? Mostly on which?
See, before you get training or advice or advices from your parents, you are having sanskars from your previous life.
Yes.
And you keep acting based on those sanskars. But human beings have been given this gift by Paramatma, that you can always come out of your previous sanskars by doing something good in this life. So if you tend to do good things in your life based on your parents' advice, or attending discourse of his Swamiji, or reading Bhagavad-Gītā, or reading Vishnu Sahasranam, and getting drifted to that path, then your sanskars are getting polished. Then your sanskars are automatically changing. As we discussed, every karma that you do, for example, this Gita Vivechan, what you are listening, is a satvik karma. And it is leaving an imprint on your antakaran, and it is getting accumulated in your sattvic baggage. So this baggage, what we are going to carry in our next life. Now, this baggage of sattvic karma that is accumulated in your antakaran is a mixed bag. You are getting some advices from your parents, that also go in the same bag. You are listening to this Gita Vivechan, it is also going into the same bag. You are reading some good books on Adhyatma spirituality, that also goes in that bag. So what is more predominant is ultimately based on all this accumulation, what finally you do. That is more important. But nothing can be said that whether your parents' sanskar are more predominant or your previous karmas. Because previous karmas, previous sanskar are accumulated for last so many births, we don't know how many. Bahunimi veditani janmani tava charjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vitta parantapa. In fourth Adhyaya Paramatma says, Arjuna, you and me have lived many lives. I remember all of them. You don't. So similarly, the story is with us. How many lives we have lived, we don't know. So our sanskars we are carrying for how many lives, we don't know. Our parents are, okay, this life's parent. Were they our parents in the last life? Are they going to be our parents in the next life? Maybe not. So parents and our company is only for this life, which is very temporary. Our innate nature is more important. People, our contacts in this life, husband, wife, brother, son, daughter, everything are temporary relations of this life. They were not us. They were not with us in our earlier lives. They may not be with us, mostly not in our future lives. What is going to remain with us is our previous sanskars, our previous karmas. So to protect them is more important than protecting all these advices which we are getting. Our definitely advices are good to get inculcated in our life. But your question was, what is more predominant? Our sanskars are more predominant. Your sanskars will decide what way you are accepting the advice of your parents, the guidance of your parents. Your sanskars are not good, you will not accept it. You will not accept them.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you.
Shri Krishna, Swarnamalaji, you can ask your question.
Guruji, I had one question on, as you said, according to our innate nature, we seek the God. Like if we are sattvic, we look for sattvic, and Rajasic accordingly, right? So I thought God will always be sattvic. So can you please explain what you meant by that we seek according to our innate nature?
If your innate nature is forcing you to acquire more and more of materialistic demands, kamanas, then you will be worshipping so many demigods who will keep showering their blessings on you for fulfillment of your kamana. Okay.
Okay.
But in Gita, we learn one thing, that out of all this, you will be worshipping demigods, getting your kamanas fulfilled, but ultimately, every kamana will get finished. Whatever they have given to you, for example, you have asked for some money or some house or some property or some promotion in your career. It starts and it ends, isn't it? So that karma and its phala is temporary. It starts and it ends. Paramatma is giving us a higher goal in Bhagavad Gita, that you ask something which is permanent, which is going to remain with you not only in this life, but in all future lives as well. You ask for something which will bring you to me, paramgati, moksha. If you ask for that, then it is a one-way journey and you will never come back here again. So if you are asking something, raise your goal little high. Don't be satisfied with heaven also. Because as the 8th Adhyaya says, Abrahma bhuna loka punaravartino arjuna mamupete tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. Highest reward that a very sattvic person can get is attaining the Brahmaloka, which is the highest in all heavens. But that is also punaravartino. From there also you have to come down. When the deposit of your punya karma is finished, you have to then come back, accumulate new punya, and then again try for doing something. But mamupetya, if you achieve me, Arjuna, then punarjanma na vidyate. So if our objective is to get one with Paramatma, so you get rid of this cycle of birth and death, better we attain Paramatma. If our objective is to live only material world, and in our future life also, we keep enjoying only material world, then okay, choice is yours. Paramatma is showing only as a mirror in Bhagavad Gita. He is not forcing us to do anything. So based on your own thinking, your own choice, you are free to do. You can worship other demigods and get your kamanas fulfilled, or you can worship one Nirgun Nirakar Paramatma and get moksha. Choice is yours.
Thanks, Guruji.
Thank you.
Savita Didi, you can unmute and ask your question, Didi. Yes. Shri Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण भैया जी, जय श्री कृष्ण। मैं हिंदी में बोलूंगी भैया जी।
हाँ बोलिए ना, बोलिए।
मैं पूछ रही हूँ कि अगर अपने स्वास्थ्य के लिए ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करती तो क्या वो भी राजसी और तामसी हो जाएगा? क्योंकि अपना स्वास्थ्य, जब तक मेरे पास स्वास्थ्य नहीं रहेगा तो मैं ईश्वर की कैसे, मैंने तो खाना पीना तो अलग बात है, लेकिन प्रार्थना एक होता है कि जब ईश्वर से यही है कि हम लोग तो इतना उम्र हो गया तो स्वस्थ तो नहीं रह सकेंगे अब, लेकिन ईश्वर से ही बार बार प्रार्थना करते हैं कि हम स्वस्थ रहे। ये तो जब
नहीं, आप
इसमें आ
सही
गए
बात
हैं तो ये तो बहुत अच्छी है कि एक बहुत बड़ा परिवार हमें मिला। ये तो बहुत खुशी की बात है। आपका विवेचन सुन रही हूँ, इंग्लिश समझती हूँ लेकिन बोल नहीं सकती हूँ इतना।
अच्छा, देखिए आपका सवाल बराबर है। स्वास्थ्य का लाभ लेना है, ये कोई राजसी है क्या? उसमें आवश्यक ये है कि स्वास्थ्य का लाभ आप किस लिए मांग रही है। यदि स्वास्थ्य का
मांग
लाभ
रही हूँ कि
आप,
मैं ईश्वर आपका मैं भजन कर सकूं, मेरी इतनी
हाँ
शक्ति
हाँ,
हो
तो यदि
कि मैं
आपका,
आपके लिए कुछ कर सकूं।
हाँ तो ऐसा है कि जैसे अभी हमने डिस्कस किया कि यदि
हाँ
आपका उसके पीछे का उद्देश्य सात्विक है,
हाँ,
ये
उद्देश्य।
सात्विक हो गया, तो ये सात्विक आराधना हो गई। यदि अब उसके पास का आपका उद्देश्य ये है कि मैं ज्यादा दिन तक और मौज मजा कर सकूं, ज्यादा दिन
नहीं
तक
हम आप
ले सकूं, तो फिर वो
हम्म,
राजसी हो गया। यदि आपका उद्देश्य अच्छा है कि मैं आध्यात्मिक प्रगति कर सकूं, परमात्मा की सेवा ज्यादा साल तक कर सकूं, इसलिए परमात्मा मेरा स्वास्थ्य अच्छा रखे, तो ये तो सात्विक कर्म हो गया, ये सात्विक भावना हो गई। लेकिन उसके पीछे का उद्देश्य क्या है वो डिसाइड करेगा कि आपकी भावना सात्विक है कि राजसी है। यदि आपकी भावना अच्छी है, ऐसी है, तो फिर सात्विक है वो। लेकिन परमात्मा ने आपको स्वास्थ्य प्रदान कर दिया और आपने उसका गलत यूज, गलत फायदा उठाया, तो फिर वो सात्विक ही नहीं रहेगा, फिर वो राजसी हो जाएगा।
जी भैया जी, बस वही है कि
तो
आज वही
परमात्मा ने जो भी
जिज्ञासा।
आपको दिया है, शरीर, इंद्रिय, मन, बुद्धि, स्वास्थ्य, पैसा, रुपया, उसे परमात्मा की आराधना में लगाया, तो सब सात्विक है।
और एक एक प्रश्न है भैया जी,
जी जी।
कि संस्कार तो हमारे माता पिता का, हमारे दादा दादी सभी का अच्छा होने वाला पूरा वंशज, लेकिन आज मेरे बच्चे यानी हमारे जो दूसरी पीढ़ी है वो उस चीज को ठीक से नहीं मना, अब तो क्रोध नहीं कर सकते, क्यों क्रोध नहीं कर, ज्यादा कुछ अपने को बदल देना है, दूसरे को तो बदल नहीं सकते हैं हम।
सही
तो
बात
इसमें क्या कर सकते हैं
है।
इसको ठीक रखने के लिए कि बच्चों को कैसे मैं उस संस्कार में
देखिए,
डालूं?
एक हद तक हम समझा सकते हैं, लेकिन उसके
जी,
बाद,
एक उम्र के बाद तो हम बच्चों को उतना, हाँ।
हाँ,
लेकिन और अगर
तो
छोटे बच्चे हैं तो कैसे मैं उनको समझा सकती हूँ, एकदम छोटे, मान लीजिए
ये
जो
छोटे
मेरे
बच्चों को
साथ।
समझाना आसान है, छोटे बच्चों को समझाना आसान है। जब वो 15-16 साल के हो जाए ना, तो किसी के समझ में नहीं आएगी, फिर वो किसी का सुनेंगे भी नहीं वो। तो जो
वो तो
संस्कार
समझे,
देना है आपको, तो छोटे बच्चों से ही शुरू करिए। 5-6 साल का बच्चा होगा ना, उसको संस्कार दिए तो वो जल्दी से एक्सेप्ट करेगा।
उन सबों
लेकिन
को
जो
तो मैं अभी
16
से
साल
ही
का हो
गीता
गया,
में जोड़ दी हूँ कि भाई
हाँ,
कुछ कुछ तो अभी से जोड़ दी हूँ, भले तुमको बोलना आए या ना आए, कम से कम गीता को सुनोगे तो कम से कम दिमाग में तो कुछ
ये
रहेगा।
देखिए, ऐसा है कि गीता है संस्कृत में। यदि वो
हाँ,
लोगों को समझ में नहीं आए, तो उनको लगेगा कि यार ये तो हमारे बस की बात नहीं है, ये कुछ अटपटी चीजें हमको नहीं समझ में आएगी कभी। तो उनके कुछ और उपाय ढूंढिए उसके ऊपर, उनको अच्छी अच्छी कथाएं सुनाइए। गीता में जो आपने सीखा है, वो आपके
जी,
शब्दों में उनको बताइए। रामायण में जो आपने स्टोरियां सुनी है राम जी की, वो उनको अपने शब्दों में बताइए। उनको स्टोरी रूप में सुनना अच्छा लगता है। संस्कार इस तरह से भी किए जा सकते हैं।
बात
गीता पढ़ना उनके लिए कठिन होगा।
नहीं। अभी अभी क्या हो रहा है कि सब उन लोग है, अभी इंग्लिश का पूरा आता है, वो मैंने बोले तो कुछ वो ये लगाया उड़ गया, वो सब तो संस्कार में है नहीं। हमारे संस्कार में कि हम कैसे अपने बड़ों का कैसे बात को सुनते हैं, सब कुछ समझते हैं, ये हमें उनको समझाना। लेकिन उन लोग सुनने के लिए तो मैंने
नहीं,
बहुत
आप
मुश्किल
इसे
है।
ऐसा है कि आप सुबह उठती हैं और सुबह उठने के बाद पूजा घर में जाके परमात्मा को नमस्कार करती हैं। उनको
जी,
बोलिए आप मेरे साथ आइए, आप भी करिए। शाम को आप जब बत्ती जलाते हैं, तब आप कुछ राम रक्षा या कुछ कहते होंगे, तो
हाँ,
उनको आपके पास बैठाइए। उनको आता नहीं होगा, लेकिन उनको उस वातावरण में 5 मिनट बैठने के लिए बोलिए कि तू सिर्फ 5 मिनट बैठ मेरे साथ में, बाद में तेरे को जो करना है वो कर
नहीं,
दो।
उन लोग को मैं सिखा दी हूँ, हनुमान चालीसा है इधर आपका, जो जो
अच्छी
कुछ
बात
कुछ
है।
तो याद
देखिए,
करा दी हूँ।
ओवरडोज, इस उम्र में किसी को ओवरडोज दिया ना, तो उसका उल्टा रिएक्शन हो सकता है।
उसका रिएक्शन होता है।
उस बारे में उसको मन में थोड़ी घृणा भी हो जाए कि अरे क्या है, बोरिंग है ये काम। उसको उतना ही दीजिए जितना वो डाइजेस्ट कर सकता है। बहुत ज्यादा अपेक्षाएं मत रखिए इस उम्र में। भगवत गीता वो उन्हीं लोगों को आएगी, और उसके लिए प्रॉपर समय आना चाहिए। आप सोचेंगे कि मेरे 7 साल के नाती को उसको ग्रैंड डॉटर को ग्रैंड सन को गीता पढ़ने में रुचि निर्माण हो जाए तो नहीं होगी, सबको नहीं होती। जैसे हमने अभी बात की, पूर्व संस्कार उनके क्या है वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है ना। आप इस उनकी जिंदगी में संस्कार दे सकती है, लेकिन उस संस्कार का फल लगने में कुछ टाइम लगेगा ना। पूर्व संस्कार का फल तो इमीडिएटली चालू हो जाता है, जब वो बच्चा 1-2 साल का होता है तब से चालू हो जाता है। इस उम्र में जो इस जिंदगी में जो आप संस्कार देंगी, उसके मन में जाना चाहिए, उसके ऊपर उसके विचार करना चाहिए, फिर उसका फल निकलेगा ना अच्छा। उसके लिए तो उतना समय देना पड़ेगा। लेकिन उसके पूरे संस्कार यदि पूरे सारे ही राजसी हो या तामसी हो, तो उसको एकदम बदलना तो काफी मुश्किल काम हो जाएगा वो। और उसकी अपेक्षा रखना भी बराबर नहीं है आपके लिए, आपको
ये
दुख
तो
ज्यादा होगा।
अपेक्षा तो नहीं रख पाएंगे, क्योंकि मैं उसके हिसाब से धीरे 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 उसको हम परिवर्तित कर सकते
हाँ,
हैं।
धीरे धीरे परिवर्तित हो सकते हैं। तो आप अपना काम करिए, भगवान आपका साथ देगा।
बस ठीक है।
जय
जैसे
Thank you, Didi. Varun Bhaiyaji, you can unmute yourself.
Namaskaram.
नमस्कार।
How does Punya and Pap relate to Bhagavad Gita and real life? How does it apply?
Sorry, I could not hear you properly. What is that?
You are able to hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
How Punya and Pap and Bhagavad Gita relate to real life? How does this apply?
See, whatever you do for your own self, for your own selfish intent, that is all giving you bondage in the life. It does not help you in attaining Paramgati. It puts bondage on you. But whatever you do for others, for their welfare, that is what is expected. And Bhagavad Gita advocates that whatever karmas you do, they should not be selfish karmas. They should be for the welfare, they should be for the worshipping of the God either, or for the welfare of others. So whatever we do for others, what we do for Paramatma is all punya, and what we keep doing for our own selfish intent, you can take that all as papa. Or if you are harming somebody, you are insulting somebody, you are not performing your prescribed duty, on the contrary, you are doing something prohibited duty, then performance of all prohibited duty is papa karma. You are not supposed to insult your parents, you are insulting, that is a papa karma. You are supposed to help a needy person, you have the capacity, you have the capability, but you decline that, you throw him out, that is a papa karma. So not performing your prescribed duty, on the contrary, performing prohibited duty is all papa karma, according to Gita.
Yes, Bhaiya, thank you very much. Oh, is Atma Bodha related to Bhagavad Gita?
What is that?
Self-realization.
You see, self-realization comes by self-study. Whatever I am doing, is it bringing me near to Paramatma or is it getting me away from Paramatma? Every karma that you do, if you check on this yardstick, on this scale, that this karma, what I have done or what I am going to do, is it going to bring me closer to Paramatma or is it going to take me away from Paramatma? If we make this habit of before performing any karma, then definitely our karmas will be bringing us close to Paramatma, because we will not like to do any karma which will take us away from him, isn't it?
Yes, Bhaiya. Do we have Atma Bodha book in Gita Press? You can send the name of the book.
Yeah.
Atma Bodha and Bhagavad Gita. I want to buy both the books of Gita Press.
You can check it on Google also. There are hundreds of books available. See, reading books is one thing, but thinking about what you have read and bringing it in your practice day-to-day life is more important. You read only one sloka of Gita and try to bring it in your day-to-day life, it is more than enough. Okay.
When the Atma Bodha, they're telling Gita Press has good printing and bigger font in some select books.
Yeah, you are most welcome to read Atma Bodha also. You can check for that on Amazon or on Gita Press website. You can buy online also. You can read Atma Bodha.
And thank you, Bhaiya.
Okay.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you. Jai Shri.
Pannagadharaji Bhaiyaji, you can ask your question.
Namaste, namaste, Vikas Bhaiya.
Namaste, namaste.
Hello, namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Sir, first of all, I want to convey my great thanks to the team, and also we had such a person like you.
Oh,
And you have enlightened us, and your teaching and everything was outstanding. I am not hypothetical, but
thank
everything was good, sir. But I had one small doubt.
yeah.
So, is it not possible, sir, by eating the tamasa food, creating the sattvic character ourselves? Because everything was created on this, and that is a Brahmanda by the Almighty. And why should you have to unnecessarily blame the food also? Is it not possible to create ourselves the characters of Sattvika by eating even Sama, that is the Tamasa or Rajasic food?
You see, ultimately, whatever food we eat, it has effect on our body, isn't it? If the body becomes lethargic, if the body becomes too fat or too weak or too diseased, can we do Paramatma sadhana? Ultimate objective is to do Paramatma sadhana for as many years as one Didi was asking just now. She's in her old age and she wants more, better health, more life to do Paramatma sadhana. Now, if we want to do that, we should have keep our body in good size and shape and without disease. Then only we can do Paramatma sadhana. And Paramatma is advised in this adhyaya. What is sattvic food? Which will give you longevity.
Yes, sir.
Which will keep you free from diseases. Which will keep you happy. So, there are choices yours if you want to eat sattvic food or Rajasic food. But Rajasic food will dukkha shoka maya pradaha. It will give you unhappiness, grief, disease, amaya, disease, pradaha, give. So it will give you that. So Rajasic food may be good for your tongue, but not so good for your body. Eating once in a while is okay. Body can definitely digest that. But making it a habit to eat only Rajasic food is dangerous. Then you cannot do Paramatma sadhana. Your body will not be fit. For example, if you eat, you keep eating 3-4 aloo badas or 3-4 samosas every day, you will have indigestion. You will put on a lot of weight. You will have a lot of acidity.
Yes, yes, sir.
Meditation and what about focusing and concentrating on Geeta or any other thing? You cannot do it. So to keep your mind and body fresh, you have to have sattvic food. That is only.
No, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. I agree with your suggestion, sir.
But where Paramatma says you should eat too spicy or the stale food or uchishtam, don't eat that food. That is what the advice is. Yeah.
Yes, yes, sir. I definitely agree with your suggestion, sir. But what we are having a practical problem in our society is that most of the religious persons are groups. Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Can I talk?
Yeah, you can continue what you're saying.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, what happened in our library society? So most of the persons who are taking only the. So in our society, in our lifestyle, in our society, most of the person, the community, they feel that they are superior than all these persons who are eating both the mixed foods and the like that. But they are also having angry. They are also. This will definitely hurt the persons like us.
Yeah.
So,
See,
I think
what
that
everybody does is his own business. What everybody does is his own business. What we have to pick from Geeta is for us. You can try giving good advices to others, to your colleagues, to your society members and all that. Whether they accept or not is their business, isn't it?
Okay.
If we know, we have evaluated it ourselves, that this is good for me, then let me follow it at least for me. Whether others follow or no, is their choice, is their business. You can't try, you cannot teach the whole world, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you try teaching them, try to give them good thoughts, they will say, "Oh, Bia, mind your own business. I know how to do it."
Yes.
So why do you get insulted?
Yes, yes.
There is a limit to which you
Ah,
can.
ah, ah.
There is a limit to which you can advise. That's why Geeta also says,
Yes,
don't
yes.
force Geeta also on people who are not liking it. Don't force Geeta on those people
Ah,
who
ah.
don't listen to it.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. Any other question?
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Thank you.
No question, sir. Clarified. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sunita Didi, you can ask your question. If possible, you can turn on the video also. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes,
So if my video is not working, so let me ask the question if you
Sure,
don't
sure.
mind. Yeah,
Please
yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
In fact, I have got two questions. The first one is, see, we all know that King Dashrath performed, Putra Kamishti Yajna, and that was with a purpose. And if he wouldn't have performed, then Lord Rama wouldn't have born. And so when it was Yajna was performed with a purpose, it means it is Rajasic. So should we call it as Rajasic or even Sattvic, because the outcome was very good for the entire universe? So I just want to know.
See, did Dasharatha know that God is going to take birth in his house? He did not know that.
He didn't know, yeah.
He didn't know that. If
Yes.
he had known that I am doing this yajna so that Vishnu Bhagavan takes birth in my house, then it
Okay.
will be big yajna. But he was doing yajna for any kid or any infant that gets born in his house.
Yes.
Because he was not having son or daughter, and he
Okay.
did perform that yajna for only getting some issue for his wives.
Okay.
So it was definitely a Rajasic yajna, and we know that Dasharatha's life was not a very happy life. Was it a very happy life?
No, he didn't.
He had to face consequences of a Rajasic
Right.
yajna. I'm not
Right.
saying only this yajna, but whatever
Okay.
Rajasic karma or tamasic karma he might have done, he had to
Yeah.
face a lot of grievances in his life.
I know. He
So
got
the
separate.
Lord Rama for which he did the yajna, of course,
Yeah.
he did not know that Rama is going to take birth, Vishnu is going to take birth in the house.
Yes.
That Rama was separated from him, and he kept remembering him, but he had to die without seeing his face.
Right. The consequences were very,
Consequences were like
yeah, they brought unhappiness or grief in his life. Yeah. And my second question is, what are the factors that cause our purva sanskar of our previous births? What factors cause our purva sanskar?
every karma that we do, whether it is good, bad, ugly, whatever karma we do, it
Okay.
gives an impression in our mind. Our
Okay.
mind is our antakaran. As I said many times, antakaran is a combination of our mind, intellect, and our subconscious.
Okay.
Subconscious mind remains with us in our next life also. And our subconscious mind, it carries the baggage of our sattvic imprints, rajasic imprints, and tamasic imprints. This baggage is not of only this life, but this baggage is full of our all previous lives' karmas as well. If we are listening to Geeta in this life, definitely our baggage of sattvic karma has been good from the previous life. That's why we are all sitting here and listening to Geeta. It is going to be nearly 7 o'clock, and you still have the patience to listen to Geeta and questions, answers about Geeta. So that says that we are all sattvic people from our previous lives.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Thank you,
you
Vaidya.
would have run away from this.
Right.
You would not have interest.
Yeah.
But you are having so much interest in not only listening, but raising questions, getting satisfied on your questions. That
We
means you are
really feel blessed, to listen to your words of wisdom and getting deep knowledge about this. Otherwise, for me, it was a dream to study anything in Sanskrit, and more especially Bhagavad-Gītā. So we are really blessed. Just one more question, Bhayaji. During Navratri, most of the people here and most of the ladies especially, they remain without food. They observe fast. And that is actually a nigraha, kind of nigraha. All cannot do that. Only those who can, those are really having that sattvic desire in them, only those people can, keep fasting and all that.
Yeah.
So how do you term it? Is it punishing our body, or it is good sattvic in nature?
You see,
They
if
don't
you
have
are,
any other purpose. They don't have anything to, they don't want anything in return.
if it is not having any purpose, no return reward expectation,
Ah.
and if they are doing it only for worshipping the goddess,
Okay.
then it is always a sattvic karma only.
Okay.
As we discussed examples of Jain sadhus also, they keep
Yes.
fasting for 40 days and all that, but they do it with an interest of purification of their antakaran. So, if so
Right.
long as our intention is purification of our antakaran, our mind, body, intellect,
Okay.
then it is good. But if our intention is, if my neighbor should appreciate me that I am doing fasting in Navratra,
Okay.
that intention is not so good. You are expecting some kind of acclaim, some kind of praise from the people. And if you are doing for that, then it's not good. If you are doing it for your own purification of mind and intellect, it is good. It is good.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste, Sumalata Didi. You
Namaste.
can ask a question. Yes, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri.
Namaste, Mahodaya.
Namaste.
Jai Shri Krishna, Mahodaya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I am Sumalata, advocate from Kurnool.
Yeah.
My question is that in 17th Adhyaya,
Mm-hmm.
4th sloka, Ejante Satvika Devan Yaksha Rakshamsi Rajasa. Its meaning is here the Tatparya means Varilo Satvikulu Devatalanu Rajasulu Yaksha. Here is Rakshamsi. Rakshamsi means
Rakshas.
Rakshaka.
Demons. Yaksha Rakshasi. That means demons.
Rakshasi neither. Here it is written as Rakshansi.
Rakshansi means Rakshasi.
Raku Dirgam Undal Kadandi.
Sorry, cannot understand your language.
Ra should be Ra, not Ra. But here it is in sloka, Rakshamsi. The meaning entirely.
This is because of the A gets lost with the sandhi of Yaksha and Rakshas. A gets lost. That's why it becomes Yaksha Rakshamsi. Yaksha Rakshamsi is demons.
Yaksha means Yakshas and Rakshamsi means
Rakshasas.
Oh.
Yaksha Rakshamsi Rajasaha. Rajasa means Rajasi people, they worship Rakshasas. That means Yaksha and Rakshas. Who are desirous of fulfillment of their kamanas.
Thank you. And one more question is that in human race, most probably ladies are very much facing difficulties, especially from human race, men race. Then can't Krishna save the woman race? Excuse me.
Yeah, Krishna saved Draupadi, no? When Draupadi was getting completely disrobed in Kaurava's darbar, Krishna saved her.
Yes.
Set an example.
In this Kali Yuga, most ladies are raped by the men, and that too brutally murdered. And can't he save them?
See, these people are all of Asuri Pravritti. Those who commit this kind of ghastly karmas, they are all of Asuri Pravritti. And that is what we discussed in 16th Adhyaya. Asuri Pravritti. Now your question is why Krishna is not saving them?
Yeah, brutally they are.
Yeah, see, do we know the past lives of those people who are the victims of this kind of crime in this life?
Okay.
Probably they may be getting punishment of their previous karma.
Excuse them.
Yeah. So to judge Paramatma based on this, that why he has not saved this or why he has not done that, he is not our servant, you see. Paramatma is not our servant to obey our orders every time. He has the complete balance sheet of everybody's karmas of all lives. And he's setting right the records. Whatever bad thing people are doing in this life, now, for example, the people who have committed this ghastly act, if they get the birth in next life of a girl And if they are facing the same torment, they are facing the same cruelty on them, we will feel bad about it. We will say, yes, they got the punishment of their previous lives, karmas. So these lives, whatever punishment, whatever atrocities are being committed on somebody by someone else, we do not know their previous lives. That's why we have no right to pass any judgment on Paramatma, that Paramatma is not saving them. Who are we to judge Paramatma?
Means that we should feel that they did karma.
We should have sympathy for such people who have been meted with some atrocities on them.
We have to answer to ourselves like that.
You ask why Krishna is not helping them. So to pass a judgment on Krishna on this is not right. Is not right.
Sir?
Yeah.
Pardon, what you said,
No, I meant to say to pass judgment on Krishna that why he has not helped such ladies or such girls is not correct. We are nobody to pass judgment on Krishna. So to question Krishna why he is not helping, as I said, Krishna is not our servant. He is not supposed to obey our orders. That Krishna, please say this, please do this. Who are we to say this? Do we know the balance sheet of these people?
In many cases, innocent ladies are suffered.
They are innocent in this life. Do you know their record in the past life?
Okay.
We don't know. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
Nutan Didi, you have a question. You can unmute and ask Didi. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Sir, I have thank you for all the beautiful explanation. I have one question. You talked about some foods of like yogurt in Shravana and something. Another thing connected with it is, in our culture we have festivals like almost every month. People may fast, but then we always have yummy food along with it. So what are we trying to do? Like we are fasting for something like, and then we have accordingly, like even for Navratra, people will be fasting, but then the last few days we have like real good food, or whether it's Ganpati or any festival for that matter. So why has food been made prominent when we should be actually controlling ourselves? It's indirectly leading us to, like, we wait for the festivals because we know, this festival will be getting this kind of thing or this kind of thing. So just a question, sorry.
Yuktahar viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmase. Everything done judiciously in the right proportion is appreciated by Krishna. You should do fasting judicially, proportionately. Don't overdo anything. So this is the message. If you are doing sattvic karma also, but overdoing it, upvas, you are doing overdoing it, 30 days, 40 days upvas without eating anything, then Paramatma says, karshayanta sharirastam. Bhutagrama, yes, I am in your body, you are punishing me also by remaining hungry. Some people have the habit, I am doing fasting on Monday, I am fasting on Thursday, I also do fasting on Saturday. 3 days I don't eat anything. I am doing this for the last 10 years. Who has asked you to do all this? Are you doing it for Lord, or you are doing it for your own self-pride, your own self-satisfaction? Maintaining 3 days upvas in a week does not make your body strong. On the contrary, it makes it weak. And a weak body cannot do Paramatma sadhana. You cannot do even meditation. You will start feeling sleepy. When you are doing Paramatma sadhana, keeping a fasting for 3 days in a week. So don't
I think we think more about the food at that time instead when we are fasting.
No, you can eat the food of your choice, provided it is falling in this Ayusattva Arogya Sukha Prithvi Vardanaha Rasya Stigdha Sthira Ridhya. If it falls in this category, you are welcome to eat that food when you are doing fasting. Your fasting, after your fasting is over. Normally, people at the end of day, they break their fast. But while breaking the fasting, if you are eating only kachoris and samosas, that is not what is expected. You are supposed to eat sattvic food. If it is fasting, the fasting should be broken with sattvic food.
And what was that of yogurt? You said something in Shravana. I didn't get that.
Shravana means all cloudy days, raining, drizzling, all that. And that weather is not very good when you are eating yogurt. So that is why it is advocated not to use that. But if your body can sustain that kind of thing, I will say in Europe, people don't eat yogurt or what. Their body is sustaining that because they are used to having cloudy weathers every day. They hardly see sun any day. So that means they should
They will
stop.
never eat.
So people in Europe or America or in the Western world, if they eat yogurt based on their own sustenance, it is okay. But I'm talking of people in India, in the hot weathers, when we are in this this kind of Ushna Katibandha people, if we start eating yogurt in rainy days, then it may affect us badly. But if your body can sustain it, it's your choice. It's only an advice.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If you have it, please, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, we will conclude it. Yeah, looks like no more questions for the day. So I just would like to take a minute. Thank you, Vikas ji, Bhayaji, as always. So interesting with all the nice, relatable anecdotes that you give. And thanks to all the sadhakas for making it so interactive and very engaging with all the questions. And Vikas Bhayaji gave the implementable solutions and the guidelines that we can follow from Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. And just would like to take a minute to thank today's technical coordinator who beautifully coordinated everything from behind the scenes, Vedang Rajhans Bhayaji, and our technical team, all the Geeta trainers, our mentors, Sevis, and devotees, and our Parama Pujya Guruji, who made this possible. Thank you. And please do continue your Geeta sadhana and attend these interpretation sessions to enrich your spiritual knowledge. May Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā be our life guide. Before concluding the session, let us thank Shri Bhagavan Shri Krishna for guiding us all along. To do the prarthana, we have Poonam Agarwal Didiji. She is from Nagpur, Maharashtra, and mathematics is her favorite subject, and she teaches abacus, and she is devoted to chanting Geeta shlokas. Associated with Geeta Pariwar since 2023, she is doing seva as a technical assistant. I request you to recite the prarthana, Poonam Didiji.
Jai Shri Krishna. Yogesham Sachidanandau Vasudevau Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakau Virang Krishnau Vande Jagadguru Shri Krishnau Vande Jagadguru. Jai Shri Krishna sabhi ko.
Thank you, Poonamji. So beautifully recited. Before concluding the session, let us all recite Hanuman Chalisa and seek the blessings of Lord Hanumanji.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरन रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा गानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही समभाई सहस बदन तुम रोज सगावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी शरण करना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब वीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
जय हनुमान, जय हनुमान, जय श्री राम, जय श्री कृष्ण। सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु। ओम तत्सत। सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। Wishing you all a very happy and blessed week ahead. Thank you everybody. Jai Shri Krishna.